When someone humiliates you in front of others, it can feel like a direct assault on your very being. It's not just an attack on what you've said or done. It's an attempt to redefine your social standing, to push you down so they can rise. That's something crucial to understand. Humiliation is rarely just about the moment itself. It's about dominance, power, and hierarchy. Human beings are social creatures. We have evolved in groups where status and reputation matter immensely. In a tribal setting, if you were publicly shamed, it could mean rejection from the group, something that in the past might have meant life or death. That instinct still runs deep within us. It's why public embarrassment triggers such a strong emotional reaction. Your heart races, your face flushes, your thoughts scatter. It feels unbearable because in that moment you're experiencing a primal fear, the fear of losing your place among others. But here's the key: just because it feels like a threat to your survival doesn't mean it actually is. That's the first thing you must internalize. The feeling of humiliation is often disproportionate to the reality of the situation. It's a response hardwired into you, but it's not necessarily rational. If you can recognize this as it's happening, you can begin to take control of it. Most people react impulsively. They get defensive, they lash out, or they shut down in shame. But none of those responses serve you. You need to step back, even if only mentally, and see the situation for what it truly is. Why is this person humiliating you? There could be several reasons. Maybe they feel threatened by you and are attempting to undercut you before you become a challenge to their status. Maybe they are insecure and putting others down makes them feel superior. Maybe they are simply testing you, seeing how much you can take. Whatever the reason, understanding that their behavior says more about them than it does about you is crucial. At this moment, you are being given a test, whether you wanted it or not. The people around you are watching, whether consciously or unconsciously, to see how you respond. Your reaction will determine how they perceive you moving forward. If you crumble, they will see you as weak. If you respond with uncontrolled anger, they will see you as emotionally unstable. But if you maintain composure, if you hold yourself with dignity and strength, they will respect you, even if they don't openly show it. Understanding the dynamics at play allows you to take control of the situation. The person humiliating you is trying to assert control over the narrative, but you don't have to let them. If you refuse to be rattled, if you remain steady, you take away their power. You shift the dynamic from being the victim of humiliation to being the one who rises above it. It's also important to recognize that humiliation, as painful as it feels, is temporary. Most people are too absorbed in their own lives to dwell on it for long. What feels like a catastrophe to you is often forgotten by others in a matter of days, if not hours. This is another reason why your reaction matters more than the humiliation itself. People will not remember exactly what was said, but they will remember how you carried yourself. Furthermore, the experience of being humiliated can be an opportunity. It can reveal areas of your life where you need to develop greater confidence, resilience, or skill. If the humiliation was based on something true, if there was a flaw in your reasoning, a mistake in your work, or a weakness in your abilities, then it can be a gift. It exposes where you need to grow. But if the attack was baseless, a cheap shot from someone seeking to elevate themselves at your expense, then it is nothing more than noise. Either way, the choice is yours. Will you let this moment define you, or will you use it to refine you? The ability to handle public humiliation with grace and strength is rare. Most people avoid confrontation, fear embarrassment, and shrink from moments of social challenge. But those who can endure it, learn from it, and rise above it gain something invaluable: true confidence. Not the kind that comes from never being challenged, but the kind that comes from knowing you can face adversity and remain standing. That kind of confidence commands deep respect, both from yourself and from others. So, when you find yourself humiliated in front of everyone, do not panic. Do not react emotionally. Do not internalize the attack as a definition of who you are. Instead, recognize what is happening, understand the forces at play, and remind yourself that you have the power to shape the outcome. The person who can endure humiliation without breaking is the person who cannot be easily defeated. And in the long run, that is the person who wins. When someone humiliates you in front of others, your first instinct is likely to react emotionally. Your body tenses up, your heart races, and you feel an overwhelming urge to respond, maybe by lashing out, defending yourself, or withdrawing in shame. But if you let emotions take control, you play directly into the hands of the person trying to humiliate you. That's what they want. To see you flustered, to watch you lose control, to provoke a reaction that further cements their dominance in that moment. It is in these moments that your ability to regulate your emotions becomes your greatest weapon. If you respond with anger, you confirm their ability to get under your skin. If you crumble, you validate their attempt to make you look weak. But if you remain calm, composed, and in control, you completely disrupt the dynamic they were hoping for. They wanted an easy victory, a display of their power over you. But instead, they are met with something they didn't expect. To avoid reacting emotionally, you first need to recognize what's happening inside you. The moment you feel that surge of humiliation, pause, take a breath, become aware of the immediate emotions trying to surface: anger, embarrassment, fear. Do not suppress them entirely. That is not the goal. Instead, acknowledge them and choose not to let them dictate your actions. This is where self-awareness becomes critical. The more you understand your emotional triggers, the better you become at controlling them. It is also essential to detach yourself from the situation momentarily. Instead of feeling like the victim of the moment, step outside of it and observe what's happening as if you were an outsider. What is this person trying to accomplish? Why are they doing this? Are they seeking validation from others? Are they trying to project their own insecurities onto you? Often, when you analyze the situation rather than simply reacting to it, you realize that their attempt at humiliation is less about you and more about them. People who humiliate others often do so out of their own inadequacies, their own deep-seated need to assert dominance, where they feel it is lacking. Another powerful way to maintain control over your emotions is to slow down your response. Many people believe they need to react instantly to defend themselves, but that is a trap. Silence, even for a few seconds, is far more powerful than an impulsive response. If you can remain quiet for a moment, you regain power over yourself, and more importantly, you make them wait. That silence can create discomfort not for you, but for the person trying to humiliate you. They expect you to react immediately because emotional responses are predictable. When you don't, it forces them into uncertainty. Additionally, controlling your emotions means understanding that words spoken in the heat of the moment are rarely the best words. If you respond in anger, you might say something you later regret. If you defend yourself out of desperation, you might sound insecure rather than strong. But if you remain composed, you gain the advantage of choosing your words carefully. A simple, calm response, something as subtle as interesting perspective, or that's one way to look at it, can shift the energy entirely. Instead of escalating the moment, you show that you are unshaken. Furthermore, maintaining emotional control allows you to use humor or irony as a response rather than aggression or defensiveness. A well-placed, confident remark can completely turn the situation around. If someone tries to make you look foolish and you respond with a relaxed, amused attitude, it undermines their entire attempt. It sends a clear message. I am not affected by this. And that is one of the most powerful things you can communicate in the face of humiliation. Beyond the immediate moment, learning to control your emotions in situations like these builds long-term strength. It teaches you discipline, patience, and the ability to navigate difficult social dynamics without being easily thrown off balance. The people who achieve the most in life are not the ones who never face humiliation. They are the ones who have learned to rise above it. And that ability comes from emotional regulation. In the grand scheme of things, every moment of public humiliation is temporary. No matter how intense it feels at the time, it will pass. People forget. They move on. What lasts longer is how you carry yourself through it. If you allow emotions to take control, you may damage your own reputation more than the original humiliation did. But if you handle the moment with poise and confidence, people will remember that instead. They will remember that you are the one who couldn't be broken, the one who didn't crumble under pressure, the one who had the strength to endure without losing control. Ultimately, refusing to react emotionally in the face of humiliation is not just about surviving the moment. It's about mastering yourself. It's about becoming the kind of person who is not easily rattled, who is not controlled by temporary emotions, and who stands strong even in the most difficult situations. And when you cultivate that kind of strength, no one, not even the most determined humiliator, can truly hold power over you. When someone humiliates you in front of others, your body's natural reaction might be to shrink. You may feel an instinctive urge to look away, lower your head, or retreat into yourself. This is an ancient, deeply ingrained survival response, one designed to avoid further confrontation. But in the modern world, where social dominance often dictates how people perceive and treat you, this reaction only reinforces the very thing you want to avoid. It signals submission, and in doing so, it gives power to the person attempting to humiliate you. Instead, you must do the opposite. Look them in the eye and stand tall. Maintaining eye contact in moments of conflict is not just about appearances. It is a direct assertion of your presence, your confidence, and your unwillingness to be reduced. The person humiliating you expects you to flinch. They expect you to crumble under the pressure of the moment. But when you meet their gaze with unwavering steadiness, you communicate something powerful, something that transcends words. You tell them and everyone watching that you are not afraid, you refuse to be diminished. Eye contact is one of the most primal forms of human interaction. It conveys dominance, respect, confidence, or submission without a single word. In the animal kingdom, direct eye contact is often a challenge, a signal that one will not back down. Humans are no different. When someone attempts to humiliate you, they are in essence challenging you. If you break eye contact and look down, they have won the psychological battle before you've even spoken. But if you hold your gaze, you shift the power dynamic. You disrupt their expectation of weakness. At the same time, it is crucial that your eye contact is controlled and measured. Staring aggressively can escalate the situation, making it appear as though you are trying to intimidate them in return. That's not the goal. The goal is to demonstrate unshakable composure. Your look should be calm, steady, and resolute, signaling that their attempt at humiliation has not affected your sense of self. This subtle but profound act can neutralize an attack without the need for an aggressive response. Along with eye contact, your posture is equally important. How you carry yourself under pressure sends a message, whether you intend it to or not. Slumping your shoulders, crossing your arms, or making yourself physically smaller communicates insecurity and submission. But standing tall, keeping your shoulders back, chest open, and head high, exudes quiet strength. It tells those around you that you are in control, that you are not intimidated, and that you are firmly grounded in yourself. Your posture not only affects how others see you, but also how you feel about yourself in the moment. Psychological research shows that body language influences confidence. When you adopt a strong, upright posture, your brain interprets it as a sign of confidence and actually begins to reinforce that feeling internally. This means that even if you are shaken on the inside, simply standing tall can help you regain a sense of control and assurance. It is also worth noting that the way you carry yourself affects how bystanders perceive the situation. In moments of public humiliation, people instinctively look to see how the target reacts. If they see someone who looks defeated, they will unconsciously associate that person with weakness. But if they see someone who remains composed, unshaken, and dignified, they will respect that, even if they do not openly express it. People are drawn to strength, and standing tall in the face of humiliation is one of the most powerful displays of strength there is. There will be times when holding eye contact and maintaining a strong posture feels difficult. Your emotions may be overwhelming and every instinct might push you to retreat, but those are the moments when standing firm matters most. The ability to project strength in times of vulnerability is what separates those who are controlled by their circumstances from those who master them. Even beyond moments of humiliation, adopting this habit of confident posture and steady eye contact can transform the way people interact with you in daily life. It influences how you are perceived in conversations, in negotiations, and in any social setting where dominance and respect play a role. Over time, it doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. In the face of humiliation, you might not always have the perfect words, you might not have the immediate clever response, but you always have control over how you hold yourself. You always have the choice to look them in the eye and stand tall. And sometimes that alone is enough to turn the entire situation around. When someone humiliates you in front of others, one of the worst things you can do is react impulsively with defensiveness, aggression, or desperation. Emotional outbursts often weaken your position and make you appear unstable or insecure. Instead, you must respond with precision and authority. A well-crafted, composed response can completely shift the power dynamic, turning what was meant to be an attack on you into an opportunity to establish strength, intelligence. Precision in your words is key. When someone attempts to humiliate you, they are often looking for an emotional reaction, a sign that their words have destabilized you. If you respond with long-winded explanations, apologies, or rambling justifications, you may inadvertently reinforce their perception that you are struggling to maintain your footing. But a sharp, concise, and well-timed response demonstrates that you are in control. There is power in brevity. The fewer words you use, the more weight each one carries. A simple, calmly delivered statement like, "That's an interesting assumption," or "I'll let you think about that for a moment," can disarm the person attempting to embarrass you. It subtly shifts the focus back onto them, making them question their own words. When you respond with precision, you don't give them more material to work with. You don't give them the satisfaction of knowing they've rattled you. Instead, you show that you are unaffected and unshaken. Authority in your response comes from both your tone and your body language. If you say something sharp, but your voice wavers or your body shrinks, the words lose their impact. But if you speak with a calm, measured tone, if your posture is upright and steady, you communicate far more than just words. You convey confidence. People instinctively respect and follow those who seem sure of themselves, even in the face of confrontation. Another crucial aspect of responding with authority is knowing when not to respond at all. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response you can give. If someone is attempting to humiliate you and you do not react, you simply hold your gaze, keep your composure, and say nothing, you rob them of the reaction they were seeking. Silence can create discomfort, but not for you. It makes them wonder if they've miscalculated, if they've lost control of the situation. The ability to remain silent, to refuse to engage on their terms, is a display of immense self-discipline and confidence. When you do choose to respond, it's important to remain emotionally detached. If your words are dripping with bitterness, sarcasm, or anger, they lose their effectiveness. The goal is not to retaliate with insults or to escalate the situation. The goal is to assert yourself in a way that maintains your dignity and presence. A response that is neutral but firm is often the most effective. Statements like, "I see what you're trying to do," or "Is that supposed to impress someone?" acknowledge the attack without allowing it to have any real impact on you. You are making it clear that you recognize the attempt at humiliation, but you are not participating in it. There is also great value in using humor when done correctly. If you can respond to an attempted humiliation with a lighthearted or witty remark, you instantly take control of the situation. A confident joke at your own expense delivered with ease can make it clear that you are entirely unbothered. For example, if someone mocks you for making a mistake in a presentation, you might simply say, "Good thing I'm not being graded on perfection." This disarms them because it shows that their attempt to shame you has failed. It turns the moment from one of humiliation into one of confidence. However, humor must be used carefully. If it comes across as forced, nervous, or defensive, it can have the opposite effect. True confidence in humor comes from delivering it effortlessly, without trying too hard to prove anything. It should be a tool for reclaiming control, not for seeking approval. Responding with precision and authority also requires an understanding of your audience. If you are being humiliated in a group setting, your response is not just for the person attacking you, for everyone watching. People will remember how you handled yourself. If you react with panic or aggression, they will see someone who is thrown off balance. But if you respond with poise, intelligence, and self-assurance, they will see someone who commands respect. In professional settings, this skill is especially valuable. If a colleague or superior attempts to belittle you in a meeting, your ability to respond concisely and assertively can protect your credibility. A statement like, "I appreciate your perspective, but I stand by my approach," is far more effective than getting defensive or argumentative. It shows that you acknowledge their words but remain unwavering in your position. Ultimately, responding with precision and authority is not just about dealing with moments of humiliation. It's about developing a mindset of self-possession and control. When you master this skill, you become someone who is not easily shaken, who does not allow others to define their worth, and who commands respect simply by the way they handle themselves. In the face of humiliation, your response determines the outcome. Choose words that are sharp but measured, a tone that is steady but strong, and a presence that is unshakable. That is how you turn an attack into an opportunity to demonstrate true power.